So, in closing here, what do you want to say to younger people who say that they're with the black cause, but they don't want to hear about that stuff from the '60s, and they definitely don't want to hear anything about slavery? How do you, without calling them ignorant, what do you say to that type of attitude, to work with them?
There's a philosophy, I don't know who coined it, but it said, those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. We are doomed to repeat it because we like the knowledge of ourselves. We like the knowledge of the struggle. We like the knowledge of knowing that they purposely tried to keep us from voting. Because in most of those southern states, we were the majority population. They could not have the majority population voting them out. And they were getting all the jobs, all the money. They were doling out the money. They were raising taxes on everybody. And black folks wasn't getting any of it. You see what I mean? So if, they control jobs, the fire department, the police, the city services such as the street department, the water department, all of those. And, there was no one to fight for, hey, why brothers ain't getting some of those jobs?
So if you had a job, whatever action you took had real strong consequences.
Oh, yeah. Not only that, how did you think I got to college? I didn't get to college because I was the smartest black person in town. No, I got there because these colleges looked around and there were some dumb white folks going to college too, and they wasn't accepting us. So they took that whole fight on. They said, we gotta balance this out. So they had a test. Well, they can't make it in college. They accepted us, and a whole bunch of us say, I'm here. That's all I wanted, an opportunity to prove that I could do college work.
Who was most appreciative of your being a graduate of Michigan State University? I mean, were the people in Mississippi most elated, or the ones here in Fort Wayne? Where'd you get your biggest pat on the back for graduating a Big Ten school?
From Mr. William G. Williams. Mr. Williams was my biggest supporter. He was a Michigan State grad. He and his wife, and they kind of looked after me, It was a lot of people did. Miss Jackie Patterson, these people pushed me. There was a time, my freshman year, I was going to drop out. I never failed a history class, never. I failed the first 2 tests. Shocked me. Luckily, the 3rd test I did exceedingly well. And it was that push then. So it was a lot of people encouraging you, and to come from the background that I came from, the first black in my family to ever go to college, immediate family, that means my mother's children and my uncles and aunts' children. And, and they supported me. My uncle, who could barely read or write, drove me to college. And they loved taking me to college. When you go back to college, I'll drive. They put the gas, the little money together, and took me. It was a great, great feeling. I took my nephew. You know what I'm saying? Somebody care about you. We got to pass this on. We can't have, everybody is not college material, but if, and I didn't think I was until I got there. And I said, well, I can pass a history class. I took more history classes my first semester in college than probably anybody. Then I found out history, I could take a sociology class. I fought my way through statistics. And I'm saying, it was a matter of time. How much time do you want to put into it? You know, you don't have to be a genius. It was a whole lot of white folks that wasn't geniuses. They got through it.
But the same effort that you learned from being in the South and as part of the movement just applied throughout your life.
Yes, the same thing. You know, how do you do it to learn the thing? You do it and do it and do it until you can repeat it.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. But, you know, man, like I said, you know, there were some times, money was short. But after I left Vincennes, I got that Ford Foundation scholarship for 80% of the cost. Oh yeah, I'm a graduate. I'm gonna graduate. It was based upon on economic need. Nobody needed that money better than I did. My mother was dead, my daddy hadn't supported us. I was living with my aunt. I mean, I fit all the criteria. I read this, yeah, I can get this. I didn't think I was going to get it, but I knew if I went on to IU, I was going to need some money. And the funniest story I tell is in 1964, I became a Michigan State fan. The 10-10 Notre Dame game, Michigan State game, I became a Michigan State fan. And we had a Notre Dame in Biloxi. Couldn't stand them. The kids would just mess with us. Their school was on Main Street on Howard Avenue, and I was on the other. And so we used to walk down and walk up. And they used to, you know, elbow us, run us off, and the police would run us off the sidewalk. I couldn't stand Notre Dame. And Bubba Smith and Michigan State played them to a 10-10 tie. And the coach refused to go for a 2-point conversion, a field goal, and Michigan State settled for a 10-10 tie. I thought Michigan State won the game. And Michigan State had a young black boy quarterback, and first time I'd ever seen a black quarterback. I remember calling my mother and saying, Mama, Michigan State got a black quarterback. Oh, God, I know you was going to ask. I can't remember.
The mission of Hackonomics TV is to contribute to the Black consciousness movement going on across America and to dismantle and destroy the Willie Lynch slave mentality and lessen the impact of historic white supremacy on our individual and group mindsets. Good night.
The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups.